happy to announce our first speaker, David. Each day, there are constant reminders we don't seem to focus on for why we should feel intense gratitude. David will share with us how we can hopefully achieve a higher level of gratitude each and every day you stand up on your 2 feet. Please welcome David Schaefer in Stand Up on Your 2 Feet.
Am I evaluating David?
You want to take your crutches? Okay.
Could you move the chair a little bit for me, please?
Sure.
Oh,
It's more square. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters.
Morning.
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 Pop! When I heard that popping sound, I knew it wasn't good. But that popping sound was nearly as horrific as the poor young mom who about 2 weeks ago was sitting under a branch in San Francisco Park. She probably didn't even hear the popping sound of the 100-pound branch that fell on top of her head and has left her paralyzed for life. Fellow Toastmasters, several years ago, I started a gratitude journal. I brought it with me because I thought this gratitude journal would help me feel better all the time, because every day we get caught up in mundane things, and I thought if every day I wrote down things to be grateful for at the end of every day or the start of every day, I'd feel a whole lot better despite what happened during the day. And frankly, I have to admit, the results I was hoping to get from my gratitude journal, I haven't been able to get. Pop, never did I realize when that popping sound had happened 5 years ago, almost to this very day, did I realize how much that would change my whole feelings around gratitude. About 5 months ago, I was meeting with one of my clients, and when we were discussing his business situation, he said to me, David, I've been undergoing a very severe clinical depression. And I could relate to that because I have been myself through a very severe clinical depression, which almost killed me. And I healed from it. And I shared with my client my story. And as we talked some more, and I asked him some very important questions such as, have you thought about killing yourself? And we talked some more. He said one of the only things that seemed to help him feel better was playing racquetball. And a light popped up in my head because I love racquetball. I used to have a great racquetball game. So I said to my client, how about this? Why don't we get together and play racquetball? And he said, yes, let's do that and talk some more after the match. So 5 months ago, I drove over to his club as his guest, and we started our match. I was a little bit rusty, but I used to have a really good game. The first game was going great. He was winning, but I was keeping it close, and I could see the sweat dripping off of him. I was sweating, and he won the first game by 2 points. And we were playing the best out of 3. So he said, David, would you like to continue? Of course, I said. I'm very competitive. And I felt with my momentum I could come back and win the match. So we started into the second game. And I kept it really close, point by point. It was tied all the way up to 14-14. And whoever won the next point won that game. It was my serve. If you win a point on serve, the game is over. We can go to the match game. So I'm standing at the serve line. I served the ball. I wanted to hit an unreturnable serve, but it was returnable. And I had to reposition myself to return the ball. And then all of a sudden I heard a pop. And I said, that does not sound very good. So it was his turn to serve, but I said, time out, something doesn't feel right, and I sat myself down. I took off my shoe, and even though I was luckily in no pain, and looked at my foot, it looked okay to me. I was able to wiggle my toes and bend it a little bit. So I asked my client, could you please help me stand up? And very carefully, I stood up and on a hardwood floor with a bare foot. When I put my right foot down, it felt like I was on a beach, and my foot sank into the hardwood floor. I said, that's not a very good feeling. Several hours later, I found myself at the hospital talking to a surgeon. And the surgeon, after he did his exam, said, David, the good news is you're going to heal from this in about a year. The bad news is it'll take some time. So I said to the surgeon, I got a really important question. I'm supposed to be on a plane in 2 days for my friend's surprise 60th birthday party. And I really want to be there. Everyone who knows me wants me to be there. And is it safe to travel? And the doctor said, absolutely not. I said, why not? He says, in your condition right now, sitting in a plane or driving in a car for several hours can lead to a pulmonary embolism. I said, what's that? Oh, he said, it's simply a blood clot that will travel to your lungs, and after you've suffered a lot of pain for a few seconds, it will kill you. Okay. My friend, when he heard afterwards and why I missed his party, he was glad I didn't try to make it there. So the last 5 months, I never understood 5 months ago, before that came, what it meant to be disabled. And when I got home with my cast on, I began to understand what it's like to live a life of a disabled person. First, I was lucky the pain didn't start until 2 days after the event, and the level of pain was at 10, so thank God for great pain medications. When you get home, well, I live in a house which has, the bedrooms are all upstairs. You have to walk up a flight of 12 steps, which easily, I mean, how easy is it for everyone here to walk up and down steps?
Sure.
When you're told by the doctor you can't put any weight-bearing pressure on your right foot and you have to wear crutches, how do you climb up 12 steps? How do you climb down 12 steps? Well, guess what? The strongest muscle in my body is my gluteus maximus. I discovered if you sit down on the steps and you push yourself up one step at a time, you can get up to the second level. And when you get down, you just do the same thing in reverse. You just going forward. Number one, so that you have just getting around your house. Number two, you need to take a shower. And they told me you can't get this cast wet. If you do, you're going to have to come back and get another one on. So how do you take a shower? You can't stand up in the shower. You can't put any weight on this. You can't get it wet. Well, I learned about plastic watertight bags you can put on. Great. But then how do you sit down? Luckily, they make special benches for showers for disabled people that you can sit on. So what used to take 5 minutes for me a shower, it's now a 30-minute affair. The next thing that happens is just driving. Now see, when you're in a cast, you cannot drive a car. And I have a business. I have to get to my office every day to take care of my clients. I go out to see my clients. Uber loves me. In fact, they love me so much, I asked my CPA, how do you write this off? He says, you can't. But I said, what if I talk about insurance and driving their cars as Uber drivers and their auto insurance, and try to sell them a better policy than they have to cover them? Oh, you could write that off. Now, ironically, when I try to help Uber today, it says no cars available. I think they know that when I get into the car, I'm going to talk about insurance. So, and even there was an article in the newspaper a few months ago about a truly disabled lawyer who goes around suing establishments that are not handicapped accessible. And they introduced legislation in Sacramento to stop them from doing that. And I called up the reporter. I said, wait a minute. They shouldn't do what they're doing in Sacramento. I don't think that our legislators or anyone else truly understands what it's like to be disabled every day, to go around and get in and out of buildings. So, every one of you If you don't mind, could you please stand up for just a minute? Now, how easy was that for you?
Not really.
Right? So, we gotta appreciate that. Now, Addie, Jane, I know that, you rely upon your feet to do your massage therapy. Can you imagine if you were like me and you couldn't work for a year? And James, you're a contractor. How would this affect your life every day?
Not good.
Not good. And think about this, Eller, you like to fly drones, don't you? What if you lost your vision and you couldn't see how to fly them anymore? And as Toastmasters, don't we like to hear speeches? What if we somehow became deaf and we couldn't hear? So in terms of appreciation, how do you think I would feel if I could stand up finally and walk again? Feel good.
You got nice toes. Ooh, what a leg. Oh.
After 5 months and all I've been through to rehab myself, the great news is it feels really wonderful
Good,
to
David.
get up and walk again.
Good, David.
Oh,
It's unbelievable the feeling you have that when you've been unable to do this normally for the last 5 months. And so all of you, when you think about what to be grateful for, all you need to do, you don't have to play a racquetball match. Just think about my story and that popping sound when the score was tied at 14-14. And I didn't know what the next 5 months would do for me to help me more intense gratitude each day for doing such a simple thing as standing up and being able to walk.
I'll be there, guys.